Hello. I was just reading Population Genetics in bed, as one does. Today we are examining a viral argument that uses a tier list to claim it has discovered the forbidden biological cause of human racial disparities. The logic relies on a false trilemma. It claims that if discrimination and culture do not explain every measurable difference, then the answer must be innate racial biology. That is a false trilemma wearing leather pants. Modern anthropology recognizes that human outcomes emerge from massive, interacting systems: nutrition, development, institutions, ecology, and plain dumb luck. We don't have to choose just one. It's a bold claim for an internet video. These theorists attempt to finish the work of global genetic research using little more than flawed logic and anime editing software. Scientific consensus holds that human biological variation is real, but human rights do not get suspended whenever somebody calculates a standard deviation. Equal moral worth does not require identical population averages. The argument depends on several logical leaps. The first suggests that because individual intelligence is heritable, the gaps in average IQ scores between racial groups must be genetic. Heritability is a specific mathematical statistic. It describes how much variation exists within a single population in a specific environment. It does not explain why the averages of two different populations differ. Imagine two greenhouses. Both contain the same genetically diverse varieties of tomato. Greenhouse A gets plenty of water. Greenhouse B receives almost none. Within each greenhouse, plant height remains heritable. The taller varieties stay taller than the short ones. Yet the difference in average height between the two greenhouses is caused by water. Heritability within the group provides no information about the cause of the gap between them. Then comes the dog breed analogy. It suggests human races differ in intelligence, the same way a border collie differs from a chihuahua. Dog breeds are recently created lineages formed by reproductive isolation and closed registries. Human history is defined by constant migration, intermarriage, and gene flow. Our population boundaries are porous and historically shifting. Applying simple heritability stats or kennel club logic to humans skips vital causal steps. The math simply doesn't support the leap. The next leap focuses on the fact that humans share 99.9% of their DNA. The argument assumes that the remaining 0.1% must contain the secrets of innate behavioral character. Local adaptations are real and well documented. Tibetan populations, for instance, possess specific genetic variants that help them thrive in high-altitude, low-oxygen environments. There is also a variant common in East Asian populations, associated with dry earwax and reduced body odor. These are clear examples of physiological evolution, but you cannot leap from earwax consistency or lung capacity to complex behavioral outcomes like intelligence or civilization building. These traits involve thousands of variants and massive environmental interactions. This brings us to race as a social construct. While ancestry is a biological reality, societies decide which physical features matter and where to draw the arbitrary lines between groups. Those lines change depending on the map. Someone categorized as black in the United States might be placed in a different ancestry category in Brazil. The rules are political and historical, not just genomic. Gazing at a tiny decimal of genetic variance to explain the rise of civilizations treats genomics as a canvas for imaginative projection rather than a tool for causal proof. The final leaps treat IQ scores and crime data as pure measurements of inherited genetics, while ignoring the actual environments where those numbers are generated. The Flynn effect is a major hurdle for genetic determinism. IQ scores rose so rapidly across many countries in the 20th century that the change could not possibly be the result of genetic evolution. Within family studies in Norway, confirmed that these shifting scores were driven by environmental changes. Our cognitive performance responds to education, health, and nutrition. Even when controlling for income, large-scale data shows persistent economic gaps between black and white boys. These disparities fluctuate based on neighborhood conditions and local incarceration rates, not just a fixed genetic essence. Dismissing discrimination, redlining, and environmental malleability makes for broken data analysis. You cannot treat an administrative outcome as a pure measurement of biology. The modern scientific consensus is a biocultural model. Biology and culture are entangled systems. Social environments enter our bodies through stress, nutrition, and development, shaping how our genes are expressed. The deepest mistake is treating racial categories as ancient biological containers for a shared destiny. Human variation is clinal, overlapping, and historically mobile. A correlation is not a mechanism. A group average is not an individual's potential. Science requires specificity, not just a seductive feeling that an answer is obvious. Making claims about human genetics requires strictly defined variables and appropriately clothed causal logic, or unclothed, consensually, for science.